Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Marcus Hayes and today you join me from the cockpit of my work van where I am currently on my break. My work van is nothing special, it's a Peugeot Expert. Today I'm going to be answering your questions. I put a post out recently on my Facebook page and my Instagram page. I also put out a YouTube community post asking you guys if you had any questions for me. So I'm going to start off with the comments and questions below the Facebook post. Right, so first up we got James Lamb, who asks, what was your first car? And he also wants a shout out. So yeah, massive shout out to you, James. My first car was a purple Vauxhall Corsa with a 1.2 litre engine, and me and my friends called it the Grape. I did put a couple of big subs in the boot, and just before I sold it, I fitted a set of alloys. I did have plans of doing, you know, some big max power style build, but I never actually ended up doing it. And I'm quite glad I didn't, looking back now. Next up, we got Matt Rogers. Massive shout to you, mate. He's asking roughly the cost of fitting a Zetec into an Escort, and are they worth it compared to a Crossflow or Pinto? The cost of a Zetec conversion varies massively. If you can do a lot of the fabrication yourself, you know, make yourself some mounts, make yourself a sump, make yourself a water rail, then you can pretty much do it for peanuts. You know, the engines themselves aren't expensive. Then again, if you go down the route where you're buying very high quality off the shelf conversion parts and, you know, picking yourself up a brand new crate Zetec, although I think those have run out now, then it can, you know, go into the thousands and thousands. So I can't really answer the question of how much does it cost. In terms of is it worth it versus a Pinto or a Crossflow, I prefer Pintos and Crossflows, but they cost so much money to get decent power out of. And then if you do blow them up, and I've blown up a mildly tuned Pinto in the past and quite a highly tuned Crossflow, then yeah, when you blow them up, you have to go through the whole process again, potentially, and, you know, spend a lot of money to get your new Crossflow or Pinto to produce good power. Whereas with a Zetec, you spend the money on the conversion parts and the engine is a couple of £100. And then when it goes bang, you can transfer all the conversion parts over to your new £200 or £300 Zetec and throw it back in the car. So yeah, for me, a Zetec makes more sense. But if money was no object, I would definitely rather a Pinto or a Crossflow. Next up, we got Wayne Gavin. Massive shout to you, mate. Hi, Marcus. Would you ever fancy getting a unit to keep all your cars in and then you don't have to work on them outside in all weathers? Yeah, it is a dream of mine to get myself a unit. Realistically, it'd probably be a very small unit, but yeah, something where I can work on the cars inside and something with electricity as well. Yeah, it is a big dream of mine to get a unit. I'm probably going to be putting that off a bit. I was hoping to sort of get myself something in the relatively near future, but there's some big changes going to be happening in my life, which I'll announce on the channel very soon, which means that I'll probably have to put that off a little bit. But yeah, I'll give you more details about those changes in an upcoming video. Next up, we got Justin Warner. Massive shout to you. Do the Mexican authorities ever get upset with your driving style, and have you ever thought about setting up a Patreon so you can kit the garage up with a generator, shelters, etc.? Oh, and what's your day job? Well, the Mexican authorities have never given me any trouble so far. In terms of Patreon, I get so many people recommending that I set up a Patreon or drop my PayPal link in the description. And I've never really felt comfortable about it, to be honest. You know, this channel's not about, you know, making money. It's about creating content, and as long as you guys are enjoying the content, that's enough for me. But the changes, again, which I will announce moving forward, are probably going to mean that I'm going to have to get over that discomfort and, you know, give you guys that do want to support me in that way a chance to do so. There has been a couple of people actually who have just dropped money into my PayPal account, because my PayPal account is linked to the same email that I leave in the description of the videos, which I really, really appreciate. And I know that some of you guys have actually saved money by watching my videos and, you know, you wanted to sort of pay me back for that. But yeah, it's not my first priority with the channel. Although it's a dream to turn this into a living, my main focus is making the content good for you lot to watch, rather than trying to wring every penny I can out of this channel. As for my day job, I work for Royal Mail. I've been working for them for 20 years. My current role is driving around in this red van, collecting mail from post offices, post boxes, and from some businesses that actually pay for a collection. Right, next up we've got Margaret Dello. Shout out to you. Hi Marcus and Kat, firstly love your videos and your Facebook, thank you. Just one question, any future plans on tying the knot with Kat? Okay, I lied, I have another question. Have you shares in any tyre companies, as you must go through them? Love to you both. Can you shout out Maggie and Graham? Yeah, massive shout out to you and Graham. I have no plans to get married. I'm the kind of guy that lives for today. So, you know, making really important lifelong plans like marriage just isn't what I'm about. But never say never. As for having shares in a tyre company, no. But with cars like mine that are, you know, lightweight and relatively low powered, you don't go through tyres that often, to be honest, unless you're doing big fat burnouts in Mexico. And when I'm doing stuff like that, I'll chuck on a set of budgets or some part warns. Next up, we've got George Hard. Shout out to you, mate. If you were on death row, what would your last meal be? Well, I'm sure a lot of you would probably expect me to say McDonald's, but I think if it was your last meal, I think it'd have to be a good steak, wouldn't it? Yeah, big fat steak dinner, I think. Next up, we've got Lachlan Cormac. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Hey Marcus, love your videos. Can you sell me your opening quarter light windows from your new project if you decide to go with fixed windows? Yeah, massive shout to you, but I do intend to use the opening quarter lights on the new project. Next up, we've got Jay Heaney. Shout out to you. Are you going to have more stands this year, mate? Yep, I am definitely planning to have more club stands this year. The club stand last year at the Ford show was awesome. It was so good to chat to so many of you that came along to be on my stand, and some of you guys that just came along to the show and came and said hello. I wasn't feeling very well that day at all, and I nearly didn't bother turning up, but I'm so glad I did, and I'll definitely be looking to do more club stands at more shows this year. And the changes that are going to be happening in my life soon are going to free me up to go to more shows and do more stuff in general. So yeah, watch this space. Next up, we've got Adam Jordan. Massive shout out to you. He asks, what other classic cars do you like apart from Fords? I like all cars, to be honest, but Mark 1 and 2 Escorts are definitely the ones that I'm more interested in owning than anything else. Although I have mentioned on the channel before that I was actually saving up for a classic Mini when I was 18 years old. And yeah, I ended up buying a Mark 1 Escort, which is Esther, that I still own. So yeah, I could have ended up becoming a proper Mini head, but as it turns out, I did buy a Mark 1 Escort, and yeah, since then, Mark 1 and 2 Escorts are the only thing that I'm interested in. But I would really like to own another Mark 1 Fiesta or a Mark 2 Fiesta at some point in the future. Next up, we've got Stuart Lingard. Massive shout to you. Hi mate, are you going to do a meet around Essex way? There's actually a couple of people in my mind that I'd actually like to go and visit in Essex and make a video. And I've been to at least one car meet before in Essex. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll be heading out to Essex at some point this year. As usual, I will announce on my social media and stuff where I'm going, you know, whether it be car meets or shows. So yeah, feel free to come and say hello if you do see me at a show. Next up, we got Jack Howe. Massive shout to you, mate. And Jack is the guy that owns the Mint Mark 1 Fiesta and the Cortina 1600E that I actually went down and filmed. It was really cool to meet Jack and his dad. He asks why the carbon fibre bonnet and boot lid over the standard ones. Yeah, I just love carbon fibre. I know it's not to everyone's taste, and you know, a Mark 1 Escort might not be the best car to be throwing a load of carbon fibre onto, but yeah, I just love the look of carbon fibre. I love that it's obviously lightweight. I was actually really surprised how much lighter the carbon fibre bonnet on Esther was compared to the fiberglass one that I took off. So yeah, I just love carbon fibre. And there's definitely some more carbon fibre going to be fitted to Esther very soon. I think it's funny when people say that I've ruined my Mark 1 Escort by fitting carbon fibre panels. They can all be unbolted and the original ones could be put back on, you know. It's not, you're not ruining a car. And ultimately, I never ever plan to sell Esther, so I can't be ruining it if I'm building it the way I want it. But yeah. Thanks for your question, Jack. Hopefully meet you again at some point in the future. Next up, we've got Zane Jonker. Massive shout to you. When are you going to take the Fords to Santa Pod to race them? yeah, I love taking my cars to Santa Pod and taking them down the strip. Obviously nothing serious, it's just a bit of fun. My cars aren't exactly fast enough to start going into competition with them, but yeah, it's always fun to test them out down Santa Pod. I've definitely done a lot less of that than I would have liked over the last couple of years, because I have been plagued with oil sump leak issues, and I don't want to be spilling oil on the track and ruining other people's days while the Santa Pod team wipe up my mess. But I did luckily get to run Maud down the strip at Santa Pod at the Ford show last year when I had the stand, and even though her engine was very tired, she was only, I think, 0.4 of a second slower than she was when I first fitted that engine into her. But obviously now I've got the ST170 in her, so yeah, I definitely want to get Maud down the strip this year to see how the new ST170 setup compares to the old Zetec setup, and I definitely want to get Esther down Santa Pod to see how her ST170 engine compares to her old Pinto engine, which is actually the fastest setup that I've had at Santa Pod. The 146 bhp Pinto that Esther used to run got me down the strip in 14.4 seconds. And I've never been able to beat that, even though Maud's engines have been more powerful than Esther's old Pinto. So yeah, definitely going to be getting back down the strip at Santa Pod this year. So next up, we got Ian Clift. Massive shout to you. And he's put a picture of his Escort, which I'll put on screen now. Now, Ian asks, what got me into Fords? Well, as I mentioned earlier, I was actually saving up for a classic Mini. I was 18 years old, and I just wanted something unique, something that not everyone had. And whenever I looked at cars in general, because of the insurance prices, I was never going to be able to get the variant of any car that had the biggest engine. Whereas a classic Mini, the biggest engine variant was the Cooper, which was only a 1.3. So in my mind, it meant that I could buy the fastest version by getting a classic Mini, and it would be, you know, a unique car. But then I saw an old school friend of mine in his Mark 1 Escort, and I just thought, yeah, now that is unique. You know, I thought to myself, you know, I could just buy quite a tatty one and it'd still be cool. It wouldn't matter that, you know, I hadn't bought a mint one because they're so old. And then obviously finding out that they're rear-wheel drive and, you know, the possibilities to go sideways and stuff. And then I basically set my mind on buying a Mark 1 Escort. And then that very Mark 1 Escort actually was put up for sale by my old school friend, Daniel. Shout out to you if you're watching. And yeah, I basically jumped at it and bought it off him, and then spent the next 10 years cutting out rust and doing all sorts of stuff before it was back on the road, sort of 6 years ago now, in primer, and then obviously more recently got her back on the road fully painted. Next up, we got Jake Gallimore. Massive shout to you. He asks, apart from Escorts, what are some of my other favourite classic Fords? And love the videos, by the way. Yeah, massive thanks for that, mate. Yeah, I like all classic Fords, to be honest. Mark 1 and Mark 2 Escorts are by far my favourite. But yeah, I love the look of Cortinas. I've already said that I would like to own another Mark 1 or 2 Fiesta again. But yeah, I love all classic Fords. But Escorts are definitely my favourite. Next up, we've got David Coogan, who along with his dad Danny have been regulars on my channel. Massive shout to you guys. And don't forget, David has his own YouTube channel, which I'll leave a link to in the description. So definitely go and check that out if you haven't already. And David's asking, when I get my Escort built, want to race? Yeah, I'm definitely up for that, mate. You need to pull your finger out and actually build your Escort first, though. And you need to get yourself a driving licence. And in fact, his dad, Danny, has replied to his comment saying that I'll be too old to race by the time David starts actually working on his Escort. Next up, we've got Dean Cutler. Massive shout to you, mate. Dean also has a YouTube channel, which I'll leave a link to in the description. Definitely go and check it out if you haven't already. He's saying, hopefully not too long before his Fiesta Smoothie gets painted, and he'll be posting vids about it at Inky's Autos on his YouTube channel. Yeah, really, really looking forward to seeing your Mark 1 Fiesta painted. I love the work you've done smoothing everything out. You know, I'm sure the anoraks hate it, but I think it's going to look awesome. And yeah, you've already told me the colour scheme and stuff. I think it's going to genuinely look pucker. Next up, we've got Jake Reed. Massive shout to you, mate. He asks, what's the hardest thing about owning an older Ford? That's a good question. I think in general, it's hard being so obsessed with classic Fords, especially insisting on driving one every day like I do. You know, it is constant work, you know, maintaining them. But I love it. You know, I wouldn't have it any other way. And obviously now I've got the channel. It's another reason why it's, you know, a really cool thing to do, because you guys obviously enjoy watching me struggle at times with the cars. But yeah, I wouldn't... What's the hardest thing? What can I sort of say is the hardest thing? I don't really know. When things go wrong and, you know, you've got to get out in the rain and fix your car, I suppose that's something that sort of isn't ideal. But, you know, you just get on with it. It's part and parcel of driving an old banger Ford every day. Next up, we've got Rob Linklater. Massive shout to you, mate. He asks, do you not fancy getting a bigger garage somewhere to fit both your cars plus your dad's? And yeah, as I've already mentioned, it is a dream of mine to get some sort of bigger garage with electricity. And yeah, fingers crossed I achieve that dream at some point. Next up, we've got Ash Holmes. Shout out to you, mate. Would you take Esther on a drift day now she's done? And shout out to his new channel, which I'll leave a link to in the description. Go and check it out if you haven't already. Would I ever take Esther on a drift day? Absolutely not. She's too clean underneath. I definitely wouldn't build a car like Esther again, you know, painting underneath and all that. But yeah, Esther's a bit too clean to be taken on a proper drift day. She will be going sideways, little flicks here and there and donuts in safe places, but definitely not going on a proper drift day with her. Next up, we've got Baz Bazza. Massive shout to you. Can you show us all of your model car collection? Yeah, what I'll do now is I'll put a clip in of all my model cars, the ones that are in the cabinet, as well as some others that are hide under my bed. All right, so in the glass cabinet, actually, we'll start on top of the glass cabinet. Got some Hot Wheels here that I need to tuck away under the bed with all my others. This is just a 3-pack that includes the black Mark 1 Escort, and Kat saw this in the shop when I hadn't actually already found a black Mark 1. So yeah, she got that. And then since then, I have found a black Mark 1 in its own packet. And the other day, I saw these Teenage Mutant Hero Turtle ones in a shop. I do sometimes like to pick up the sort of novelty ones from programs from my childhood. But yeah, into the model car cabinet. At the top here, we've got a load of Royal Mail vans, because obviously I work for Royal Mail. We've got a Anglia van, or Thames maybe they're called, over here. This is the Super Van 3, but in the Royal Mail livery. Got a Mark 2 Escort van here, and this is a Ford Pop van, I assume. Moving down, we've got this Mark 1 Escort, which was given to me by David Coogan, I believe. I think that's the same as this model, but he painted it Olympic blue. This model was part of a magazine subscription that I got ages ago. This one was sent to me by someone. Sorry, I can't remember your name. Underneath there, we've got a red Mark 1 Escort, which was sent to me by someone. Again, I can't remember their name, sorry. This Mark 3 Escort was sent to me by someone as well. This Mark 1 Escort here was actually given to me by Kat on my first birthday that I had after I got with her. This Sierra model here was given to me by Scott Norris, I believe. And then down here, I've got one of each of the Mark 1 Escort Hot Wheels just out of their packets. Actually, there's one missing. There's another white one with the blue RS2000 stripes, which I do have loads of spares of. See, I need to get one of those out of the packet actually. But yeah, they're all the Mark 1 Escort Hot Wheels I've got. Moving down here, we've got this collection that I recently picked up off eBay. Ridiculously expensive for what it is, but I absolutely love it. And then down here, I've got this Matchbox Sierra that was sent to me by someone recently. Again, I can't remember your name off the top of my head, sorry. And then this really cool large Sierra model, which was sent to me by Scott Norris. So that's all there is in the cabinet. And now I'll show you some other models that I've got that are just tucked under my bed. And while I'm at it, I can tuck these ones under there as well. Oh, and in my bedroom on this shelf, I do have this Mark 1 Escort, which I've already got one in the cabinet, and this Mark 2 Escort van that, again, I've already got one of those in the cabinet. And then these boxes are the models that I keep under the bed. As I say, I'm not a massive model car collector. This box here is mainly just boxes. There is a Mark 1 Fiesta model there though, and not even sure what that is, some sort of NASCAR. And there's a Mark 1 Escort that's in bits. I think I was gonna sort of paint this Olympic blue and build it back up, but never got around to it. Yeah, there's all the bits for it in there. In this one, got some of these Beatles Yellow Submarine models. Got some other Beatles ones here. This is a Mini. Don't even know what that one is, but it's an error. I do like to pick up errors whenever I see them, because apparently they're sort of worth a few quid, because they're supposed to get pulled out in the factory and discarded of. So yeah, that's an error. Yellow Submarine bumper car thing, I don't know. Another one of those Minis. And yeah, I went a bit mad with the Yellow Submarine models. Loads of them. Yeah, I bought way too many of them. Another one of those, which isn't an error. That's a VW camper, Cockney cab, whatever that is. And then this other one from that Beatles collection. So yeah, all these are Beatles themed Hot Wheels. I've got a random Ford GT in that box as well. This box appears to be all Hot Wheels Escorts. I think I've got about 50 in total, including the ones that are in the cabinet. So I'll just pull all these out quickly. So yeah, grabbed these Mark 1s whenever I saw them while they were out. Bit nuts, I know, but got to grab them while they're there. And now I can add this one in amongst them somewhere. And I'll keep these 3 in the box, but that's also got a Mark 1 in there. I need to dig out one of these to put in the cabinet. I think I've got one of these that's an error, actually. Or was it one of the blue ones? Yeah, this one. It's got a bit missing from the B pillar. Now I'll pack these back up and put them in a box, and then find the other box of Hot Wheels that I know I've got somewhere. Alright, so as it turns out, I've got way more Hot Wheels than I thought. Loads in these boxes. Also found these Martin Escort models. Got a black one in there. Fast and Furious one in there. And these 2 yellow Mark 1s. These shoe boxes. These are all sort of random non-Ford cars that I think are cool. These are Reliant Robins, which are these sort of weird wheelie things. BMW 2002, probably my favourite ever BMW. Another BMW there. The 3-litre CSL race car. A black 2002. Another couple of Robin Reliants there. Got a Ford pickup truck there, American thing. A Volkswagen Beetle with a huge engine sticking out the back. This is an error. It's a Volkswagen Squareback, but it's in the box upside down. A random Aston Martin and some more BMW 2002. It's another black one. It's really cool. Green one. I've got 2 of them. Next box down we have, right, so these are all your novelty themed ones. So we've got the Simpsons car, got a couple of them. Back to the Future time machine, the DeLorean, some sort of Ford coupe. Got a few kits, really cool. Got a Snoopy, the Jetsons. So yeah, just random sort of stuff from the TV. Mario one, more DeLoreans, more kits, another Snoopy. Yeah, just more of the same under there. So yeah, that's me sort of random novelty stuff. Next box down, we got Fords, but not Escorts. Star Trek transit van. Got a couple of them. Oh yeah, this is another Star Wars transit van. Yeah, Mark 1 transits, really cool. Got another few of those silver ones. And another yellow one. This one I actually got from America. My mate bought a load, and yeah, I bought one off him. That's the Mark 1 Transit, but the super van. Really, really cool. The engine is actually in there in the back, just like the real super van as well. Yeah, it's a really cool model, that. I'd love to take it out of the packet and put it in the cabinet, but I've only got one of them, and it's from America, so I'll have to stay in the packet. Maybe it'll go in the cabinet in the packet at some point. We've got a load of Ford GTs in the Golf livery. A few more of those Star Trek Mark 1 Transits. And got this custom Ford pickup truck. Oh, and a Ford GT LM Gran Turismo. And the next box down should be all minis. Yeah. So yeah, I started collecting minis whenever I saw them. This really cool design. This orange one. Got these Austin mini vans. Campbell's livery on it. Another Campbell's garage minivan in red. This Morris Mini with another cool livery on it. I think All the others are just more of the same. Yeah, loads and loads of minis. So yeah, as I say, not a massive model car collector. I don't really go hunting for them anymore, but if I ever do see an Escort in the Hot Wheels in a supermarket, I'll pick up every one that's there. That set that I got from America has a Mark II Escort in it, so hopefully they'll start selling the Mark II Escort Hot Wheels over here individually, and then I'll probably start hunting in the supermarkets like I did when the Mark Is were out. And yeah, all these Escorts will stay in their packets until I'm an old man, and then might actually be worth something. I'll rearrange them another day. They're a bit too close together. Almost forgot to put my Teenage Mutant Hero Turtle ones in with all the other novelty stuff. Next up we got Kato Christopherson. Hope I've pronounced that right, mate. Massive shout to you. Why exactly Ford Escort? What was your first encounter with one and why did you start liking them? Yeah, as I've mentioned, my first encounter with a Mark I Escort was when I saw Esther with her previous owner, and yeah, I just fell in love straight away, and there's nothing I'm more interested in than a Mark I or Mark II Escort. Next up, we got a picture from Ian Bond of his Mark I Escort, which I'll post on the screen now. Massive shout out to you, mate. Next up, we've got Nick Whitney. Massive shout out to you. And he's put a picture of his Mark I Fiesta here, which I'll put on screen now. Now, Nick asks, what's the best bank to rob to fund 3 project cars, 1 restoration, half a dozen lock-up garages, and a diet of pub food, delicious McDonald's breakfast, and endless cups of Costa? Yeah, I haven't robbed any banks. I don't earn loads of money, but, you know, at the same time, I don't have children. I don't own any property. I don't really go on any holidays. I just spend all my money on my weird life, which revolves around my obsession for my classic Fords. Next up, we got Richard Yates, who's put a picture up of his Mondeo, which I'll put on screen now. He asks, if I didn't own any Mark I or Mark II Escorts, what car would I like to own? As I've already mentioned, I really do want to own a Mark I or Mark II Fiesta at some point in the future. But I suppose one way you could look at his question, if I didn't own a Mark I or Mark II Escort, then maybe, as I mentioned earlier, I would have ended up going down the Classic Mini route. So, yeah, maybe I would own 3 Classic Minis now instead. Right, next up, we got Paul Jeffries. Massive shout to you. He's put a picture of his Classic Mini, which I'll put on the screen. And I was actually lucky enough to be taken on a short passenger ride in that Mini very recently. And you'll be able to see that in a future video. So yeah, massive thanks for the joyride, mate. It was such a cool car to be in. Paul asks, hi Marcus, we all know that you like Classic Minis as well as Fords, but if you ever did add a Classic Mini to your collection, what modifications would you do to it? Well, while I was saving up for a Classic Mini, I actually already had plans for it. I had diagrams that I'd drawn and everything, and my plans at the time were to fit Mini Light alloys, fit the wide arches, very much like your Mini, Paul, and I wanted to put bucket seats in it, very much like yours. And because at the time I had a Vauxhall Corsa with subs in the boot, I planned to take the back seats out and put a big sub in the boot. But yeah, I absolutely love what you've done with yours. Love all the stickers all over it. And obviously what you've done with the engine is awesome as well. Paul's Mini has actually got a 1380cc engine, if I remember rightly, running on a single 45 DCOE. It sounds awesome and goes really well. Next up, we got Wayne Burdette. Massive shout to you. He's saying his car's nearly done. He's just put some new spot lamps on, fuel pressure gauge and a petrol cut-off switch ready for the spring. And he's put a picture of his Mark I Escort here, which I'll put on screen. Yeah, hopefully I'll get to bump into you and your Mark I Escort later on in the year, Wayne. And next up, we've got Scott Burgess, who asks, have I checked out Aussie muscle cars, GT Falcons, Monaros, etc.? I haven't watched loads of Australian stuff on YouTube, but there is a guy called Mark II Jace on YouTube, and he has a Zetec turbo-powered Mark II Escort, but he's also building an old Falcon, and I'm really enjoying his videos. So yeah, definitely check out his channel if you haven't already. But yeah, I'm always discovering new channels on YouTube and stuff. Now, I've just realised that I didn't select all comments on this Facebook post. So I'm just going back now that I have selected all comments and checking that I haven't missed any. Right, I've got another comment here from Ian Bond, who I did mention earlier, and he's actually got a YouTube channel, which I'll leave a link to in the description. Definitely go and check it out. It's mainly track-related stuff, although there's some old DJ stuff on there too, and a fair few videos of his Martin Escort and some other cars. Shout out to Icon Dave, who says, hope you're well, Marcus. Yeah, all good, thanks, mate. Could you do me a shout out? And here's me shed. I'll put a picture on the screen now, and yeah, massive shout out to you, mate. Next up, we got Mark Foley. Shout out to you, mate. And he wants to send a shout out to his wife and kids, Isla, Enna and Rose. So shout out to you guys as well. And he's asking, how do I get time to work on my old Fords? Yeah, I just really have to squeeze it in amongst my life. This day job does give me the opportunity to sit on my breaks and edit videos, or film a video in this case. And I don't start work super early in the morning, which means I can sort of run to the garage before work if I need to. In the summer, you know, I've got time to sort of go to the garage for an hour or two after work. But yeah, I just fit it in amongst my life. The editing of the videos and stuff, a lot of it does get done, as I say, in my breaks at work, or, you know, late into the night. So yeah, you just got to do what you can when you can. And as I've mentioned, I don't have any kids or anything like that, which obviously helps. But as I also mentioned earlier, there are going to be some big changes to my life, which is going to free me up to do more stuff, and I will announce all about that in a future video. Next up, we got Wayne Gavin. Massive shout to you, mate. And he's put a picture of his old Escort, which he wishes he still owns, which I'll put a picture of on the screen now. Next up, we got Edward Newton. Massive shout to you. He's asking, what is mine and Kat's favourite make of car, including Fords? To be honest, Kat isn't a car girl at all, but she has now owned 2 modern Ford Fiestas, and obviously my favourite make is Ford, and my favourite cars are Mark 1 and Mark 2 Ford Escorts. Next up, we got Nikola Hendy. Shout out to you. She's put a picture up of some trainers that she's obviously seen online, which are apparently carbon fibre. Maybe I'll purchase a pair of them. And next up, we've got Jordan Jaggard. Massive shout to you. He asks, do you have a favourite out of your 3 Escorts? And he would also like a shout out for his boy, Leo Jaggard. So yeah, massive shout out to you, Leo, as well. And by far, my favourite one of my 3 Escorts is Esther, and she'll definitely be sticking around forever. And I think that's it. So have another check. I don't want to miss anyone out. Yeah, looks like that is all the questions and shout outs that were posted below my Facebook post. So yeah, massive thanks to everyone who got involved. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this video here, and then I'll do the Instagram and YouTube community posts in another video, just to stop this video becoming really long. I actually left the posts up longer than I was planning to, just to give all of you guys that wanted to put a question or get a shout out a chance to do so. If there's anyone else who wants to know anything, do put your questions in the comments below this video. I normally comment on the videos the same evening they go out, and I'll just go through and answer every single comment. So yeah, if you're watching this video soon after it came out and you do have a question, do let me know in the comments. Other than that, if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and a share. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Click subscribe to keep up to date with all my future uploads, and check the links in the description to my social media and my website. I'll also leave my email address down there for anyone who wants to contact me. Massive thanks, as always, to each and every one of you for your continued support of my channel. But other than that, until next time, thanks for watching.